In the dark and murky world of drug trafficking, we are familiar with tales of the most feared and vicious drug lords, such as the infamous Pablo Escobar and El Chapo. However, there is an untold narrative that is equally compelling: the story of women. These are the women who stood by their dangerous partners during the most harrowing moments, running vital divisions of the drug trade, and exhibiting the fearlessness to take charge and lead the cartels themselves. It's surprising, as we typically associate aggression with men, but women can be equally formidable. They are often the ones who form alliances and bridge divides in this male-dominated world. But what happens when they turn to violence? Let's delve into the lives of some of the most ruthless female drug traffickers in history. Please like and subscribe. Maria Guadalupe Lopez Esquivel, aka La Catrina. Maria was a young and ambitious member of the CJNG cartel. Her ruthless tactics and love for fame and money made her one of the most feared cartel women in recent history. Maria's journey to the top of the cartel was not an easy one, as she was born into a humble family in Tapalcatepec and left home to join the cartel at a young age. Her rise through the ranks was rapid, and within months she was leading her own group of female sicarios. La Catrina's strategy was to use the innocent looks and beauty of her soldiers to lure and kill members of rival gangs. Her hit squad was responsible for several high-profile assassinations, extortion, and kidnappings. The squad's most notorious attack was the ambush of Mexican police in October 2017, which left 13 officers dead and many others injured. La Catrina felt invincible, and the attack was a clear message that they were not afraid to go to war with the police. However, the tables turned on La Catrina on January 10, 2020, when the National Guard received crucial information about the whereabouts of her crew. They mobilized quickly and surrounded the safe house of La Catrina's gang. What ensued was a violent shootout, and this time, La Catrina was shot in the jugular and airlifted to the hospital. Despite attempts to save her life, the 21-year-old lost too much blood and died in the helicopter. La Catrina's story serves as a reminder that even the most dangerous narcos are not invincible. Her desire for fame and money, coupled with her ruthless tactics, ultimately led to her downfall. Maria's legacy is one of violence and destruction. Melissa Margarita Calderon Oyeda, aka La China. Melissa was born on August 12, 1984 in Sinaloa, Mexico. Growing up in a poverty-stricken neighborhood, Melissa had to work hard from a young age to help her family make ends meet. She was known for her street smarts and resourcefulness, which she used to her advantage when she joined the Sinaloa cartel in 2005. At first, Melissa was a low-level member of the cartel, working as a courier and doing small jobs for the bosses. However, she quickly proved herself to be a valuable asset to the organization, thanks to her cunning, ruthlessness, and strategic thinking. She was promoted to the role of commander of the armed unit in 2008, which put her in charge of a group of highly trained and well-armed soldiers who were responsible for protecting the cartel's interests. Under Melissa's leadership, Los Damascos subdivision became one of the most feared and powerful criminal organizations in Mexico. Her thirst for blood and her aggressive tactics resulted in a sharp increase in crime, including murders, kidnappings, and drug trafficking. It is estimated that at least 178 people died as a result of her actions. In 2014, Melissa's reign as commander came to an end after the death of her boyfriend Eric, who was killed as a message from the Damasco cartel leader El Grande. Melissa was devastated by Eric's death and sought revenge against El Grande, but instead of giving up, she rallied 300 soldiers to her side and started a new cartel, Las Fortas, with her new boyfriend Hector Pedro Camarino Gomez, who went by the name El Chino. Las Fortas quickly became a major player in the Mexican drug trade, competing with the country's most powerful cartels for control of key territories and smuggling routes. However, her violent ways proved to be too much even for El Chino, who was horrified by the atrocities committed by Melissa and her soldiers. He eventually fled to the police, giving information and tipping them off about Melissa's location. Melissa was arrested at the Cabo San Lucas International Airport in 2015 after a violent standoff with the police. She was charged with numerous crimes, including murder, drug trafficking, and money laundering. She was found guilty on all charges and sentenced to life in prison, where she remains to this day. Griselda Blanco, aka the Godmother. Griselda was a high-level operative in the infamous Medellin cartel, known for trafficking cocaine in major urban centers like Miami, Florida. She was a notorious drug lord who rose to power in the 1970s and 80s. She was born in 1943 in a poor neighborhood in Medellin, Colombia, and grew up surrounded by violence and poverty. Despite her humble beginnings, she was determined to make a better life for herself, and she soon found her calling in the world of drug trafficking. Griselda quickly became one of the most feared figures in the world of organized crime. She was known for her ruthless tactics and her willingness to use very public violence to achieve her goals. In the 80s, Griselda was responsible for a high-crime epidemic that swept the city of Miami. Blanco earned her nickname the Godmother due to her predilection to have people murdered. If someone double-crossed her, annoyed her, or was a member of a rival cartel or smuggling business, she had them executed. Authorities predict she had up to 200 people killed. Her cartel was one of the largest and most successful in the world, trafficking huge amounts of cocaine and other drugs into the United States. Despite her many enemies, Griselda managed to avoid capture for many years. She constantly changed her location, staying one step ahead of the law enforcement agencies that were hot on her trail. She lived a lavish lifestyle, surrounded by luxury and wealth, and she was known for her extravagant tastes and her love of fine jewelry. However, Griselda's reign of terror could not last forever. In the mid-1980s, the authorities finally caught up with her, and she was arrested in a dramatic raid in California. She was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Despite her time in prison, Griselda never lost her edge. She continued to run her criminal empire from behind bars, using her network of contacts and her vast wealth to maintain her power. However, she was eventually released from prison, and she was murdered in 2012 in a public square in Colombia. Griselda's legacy is one of violence and crime, but also of resilience and determination. Despite her humble beginnings and her many setbacks, she rose to the top of the world of organized crime, becoming one of the most powerful and feared figures of her time. Jocelyn Alejandro Ninos, aka La Flaca. Jocelyn's early life was marked by poverty and a lack of opportunities. Growing up in a rough neighborhood, she was exposed to the harsh realities of the drug trade at a young age. At the age of 13, she began working as a lookout for the Gulf Cartel, alerting members of the gang to the presence of law enforcement or rival gangs. This dangerous work exposed her to frequent violence and abuse at the hands of the gang members. This fueled Jocelyn and made her more determined than ever to climb the ranks and earn respect within the cartel. She quickly showed an aptitude for violence, demonstrating her skills as a sharpshooter and quickly becoming one of the cartel's most skilled assassins with many kills under her belt. Her reputation for fearlessness and accuracy with large firearms earned her the nickname La Flaca, or the Skinny One. As Jocelyn's reputation grew, so did her visibility. The leaked photo on Facebook and Twitter of her wearing a bulletproof vest and holding a large firearm was a significant moment for her, as it captured the public's attention and sparked fascination with her story. However, it also exposed her and other members of the Los Ciclones to their rivals, the Los Metros, who saw her as an easy target. Despite the danger, Jocelyn continued to work for the cartel, driven by a desire for power and respect within the organization. However, her luck eventually ran out. On April 13, 2015, her dismembered body was found in a freezer, a victim of the brutal violence that often characterizes the drug trade. The autopsy revealed that she had been subjected to torture before her death, a testament to the horrors that those involved in the cartel must face. In the aftermath of Jocelyn's murder, Los Metros engaged in a campaign of terror, posting images and videos of her and other victims' dismembered bodies on social media as a warning to anyone who might support the Los Ciclones. The public outcry was significant, with many people expressing shock and horror at the violence that had taken place. This was the most ruthless female drug traffickers, This highlights the complex nature of power, violence, and gender in the criminal underworld. These women, driven by ambition, cunning, and ruthlessness, rose to the top of the drug trade, leaving a trail of violence and destruction in their wake. Their stories remind us that gender is not a barrier to power or violence. Women are not immune to the temptations of wealth and status that come with leading criminal organizations, nor are they incapable of perpetrating violence. While this may be their legacies, they also serve as a testament to the complexity of human nature and the allure of power, wealth, and status. If there is a ruthless female drug trafficker we have left off the list, let us know in the comments. Please like and subscribe for videos weekly.